Assalamu alaikum students and a very good morning to you all. First of all, tell me, can you hear me? Am I audible to you all? Please reply me in the chat box. Am I audible to you all? Okay, that's great. Now please tell me, can you see the shared screen? Can you see the shared screen, students? Okay, that's great. Thank you everyone for your timely response. Okay, students, so once again, good morning, all of you. How are you all? How are you? That's great. Take good care of yourselves, everybody. Okay, let me fix this. Just wait a minute. Now tell me, is my voice clear now? Is my voice clear now? Okay, that's great. Thank you, everyone. I am also fine and good to hear from all of you. Walaikum assalam, Verda, and walaikum assalam, everyone. Okay, Hamza, thank you for your timely response. All right, everybody. So this is our English literature lecture, lecture number 18. Okay. And I hope you remember that we were reading The Room at the Inn. Okay. So I hope you all are having your English literature books, means the Adventures of Tom Sawyer with you. And you have your pencils in your hands so you can underline the new words as well as RTCs. Okay. So are you ready? Shall we start now? Okay, everybody, very good. So we have read the first two parts or the first two chapters of this lesson, right? I hope you have read the lesson and you remember the story of this lesson. So who is going to tell me what was their new adventure? What was their new adventure? Good. Their new adventure was to find room number 2. Okay. So they were now in search of room number 2. Okay. They were in search of room number 2 to unlock the door and to find the treasure. Yes, Miram, Varda, Iman, very nice. All of you are giving me correct answer. Very good. So we are just going to quickly review the first two parts, then we'll start our today's lecture. Okay. So where is number 2? When Tom woke up next morning, everything that happened yesterday seemed like a dream to him. When Tom woke up, he was thinking that everything was just a dream and nothing happened in real. Okay. Huck was sitting on a raft and Tom decided not to be the first to talk. Tom thought that if Huck said nothing about it, it must have been a dream. So Huck was sitting on the raft. He was so sad. He was sitting alone there. Tom decided not to talk to him first. And Tom thought that if Huck said nothing about the things that happened yesterday, it must have been a dream. Okay. So Huck said that if they had taken those tools with them, they would have got the money. Okay, so Huck, yeah, I hope you remember that Huck and Tom threw their tools downstairs and they went up to see what was there. Okay, in the meanwhile, the two men entered in the haunted house, and they were Injun Joe and Spaniard, his friend. Okay. So later, Huck was angry. In fact, both of them, Tom and Huck, both were angry. Why? Because they realized that they had made a blunder by leaving their tools in the haunted house. It was a proof that someone had entered there with the intention to take out the treasure. Okay, that's why they were angry with themselves. Tom said that they were quite lucky that the stairs broke down and Joe could not reach upstairs. So as Injun Joe was going upstairs to find out who was there, suddenly the stairs broke down and he fell on the ground. Tom said that they should find Spaniard and the money. Huck was of the opinion that they will never find him. Both of the boys wanted to follow him to his number 2. Number 2 was the place where they hid the treasure. Okay, it was their hiding place. Tom said that it might be the number of house, but Huck said that there weren't any numbers there in St. Petersburg. Tom said that it might be the number of a room in an inn. Huck liked that idea and he said there are only 2 inns in the St. Petersburg and they can easily find out very quickly. So Huck liked Tom's idea that it might be any room in an inn, and they could easily find that because there were only 2 inns in the St. Petersburg. Okay. Tom asked him to wait and he went off at once. He found that in the best inn, room number 2 belonged to a very young lawyer and he was staying in that room for a very long time. In the first inn, the room number 2 belonged to a very young lawyer and he was still staying there. So it was not that room, it was not that number 2, okay. In the other inn, room number 2 was a mystery. The innkeeper's son told that it was kept locked all the time. He had never seen anyone coming out of it except at night. So it was a mystery. Nobody knew, nobody understood why the things were like that, okay? The innkeeper told that he noticed light in there the night before. Tom had a guess that it was number 2 that we're looking for. Huck agreed with Tom and asked him what was he going to do. So the room number 2 of the second inn was actually the number 2 they were in search of. Okay. They decided to gather all the keys and the first night means the first dark night they shall go there and try to unlock that door. So they decided to gather all the keys to unlock the room number 2. Okay. One of them watched the street, the other watched the inn door. Nobody left the street or entered it. So they were having different duties. The one was watching the street and the other was planning to go in the inn to unlock the door. But nobody left the street or entered it, okay? The moon was very bright. So Tom went home. He asked Huck to come and make noise like a cat under his window. If it grew up dark enough, then he would slip out and they could try the keys. Since the moon was very bright, they could not unlock the door in that bright light. so they decided not to go in. Tom went back to his home and he asked Huck to come and make noise like a cat under his window if it grew darker. Okay? The night stayed clear and Huck gave up his watch and went to sleep in empty sugar barrel at about midnight. So it was clear, it was bright night. Huck was tired too, and after some time he also gave up and his watch and he went to sleep in the empty sugar barrel at about midnight. Thursday night, the sky was covered with clouds. So on Thursday, it was a cloudy night, okay? So it was dark. When the in light went out, the boys crept towards the inn. Huck stood on guard. Tom went towards the alley. Alley means the passage between two buildings, okay? So when the light were switched off, the boys crept towards the inn. They moved towards the inn. Huck stood on the guard and Tom went towards the alley. Huck waited for Tom, but he was nowhere to be found. Suddenly, there was a flash of light. Tom came rushing and asked Huck to run for life. What happened? Huck was watching on the street, right? He was watching on the street. He was on guard, okay? His duty was to watch the street, and Tom went towards the alley. He went inside the inn to unlock the door, right? So Huck was waiting outside for the Tom, but he was nowhere to be found, and he was having bad thoughts. He was having bad thoughts related to the Tom, okay? So suddenly there was a flash of light and Tom came rushing and asked Huck to run for life. So that's all about the previous chapters. Is there any confusion or question related to that? If you have any question related to chapter 1 or 2, you may ask me in the chat box. Then we'll start our today's lesson, that is page number 53 and 54. Okay? Yes, students? If you have any question or any confusion related to chapter 1 or 2, please ask me. Now, is the money there? We are going to read this, is the money there? Okay? Since you have no question and the story is clear, I'm going to start the reading. Okay, Hamza and Jam, good, very nice. Is the money there? He need not have repeated it. Once was enough for Huck. The boys never stopped until they reached an old building at the lower end of the village. I hope you remember that both of the boys started running, right? They were running for their life. They kept running until they reached the lower end of the village, okay? As soon as Tom got his breath, he said, "Huck, it was awful. I tried two of the keys as softly as I could, but they made an awful noise." So Tom was telling what happened in the inn, okay? He told Huck that he tried two of the keys, but they made awful noise, okay? The noise of unlocking the door, okay? I could hardly get my breath. I was so frightened. And when it made noise, Tom was so frightened, okay? They wouldn't turn in the lock. Without noticing what I was doing, I put my hand on the door on the door handle and the door opened. So he was so nervous, he was so frightened that he didn't notice what he was doing. He just put his hand on the door handle and the door opened because it was not locked and he was trying the keys. It wasn't locked. I went in and shook off the towel and oh, Huck, so it wasn't locked. He went inside the room and he shook off the towel. And what he said further, let's read it. What? What did you see, Tom? Huck, I almost stepped onto Injun Joe's hand. No. Yes, he was lying there, fast asleep on the floor. What did you do? Did he wake up? No, he never moved. I think he was drunk. I just picked up the towel and ran. So what happened? Now he was telling Huck, Tom was telling Huck that he saw Injun Joe lying on the floor. Okay, Tom saw Injun Joe lying on the floor. And Tom almost stepped on Injun Joe's hand. So he ran away from the room for fear of being caught. Okay. Meeram, please turn off your camera, beta. Then Huck asked, Tom, did you see that box? What kind of box? What was he asking about? Yes? Anybody? Tom, did you see that box? Which box was there? What was he asking about? Yes, anyone? Good, very good, Saad. Very good, Suhaima. Good, Hani. Very nice, everybody. Very nice, everyone. So he was asking about the treasure box. Okay, Huck, I didn't wait to look around. I didn't see the box. I didn't see the cross. I didn't see anything but a bottle and a tin cup on the floor by Injun Joe. So Tom replied Huck that he didn't see anything there. He just saw a bottle and tin cup on the floor by Injun Joe. Okay, it was a wine bottle, so that's why he came to the idea that Injun Joe was drunk and he was lying on the floor. Okay. Now that Injun Joe's drunk, it would be a good time to go and get the box. Now Huck was saying that if Injun Joe is drunk, it's a good time to go and get the treasure box from the room number 2. Go on, then you try, said Tom. Tom asked Huck to try, but Huck was not that brave. He was so coward, he couldn't go, right? He was just asking Tom to go back because Injun Joe was drunk and it was good time to get the treasure box. Huck shook with fear. Well, no, I don't think so, he said. So he refused to go. Huck refused to go in the inn to get the treasure box. And I don't think so, Huck. Only one bottle beside Injun Joe is not enough. And Tom was also not ready to go inside the inn in the room number 2 because he was saying that there was only one bottle beside Injun Joe and one bottle was not enough to make him asleep. Okay, are you getting me? Yes, I'm taking your question, please. Better let me finish this, then I'll answer you. Okay. So he said that if there had been 3 bottles, then he'd have been drunk enough and I'd do it. So Tom was saying that one bottle was not enough for Injun Joe. Okay. and he was lying on the floor, and there was chance that he would wake up soon. So he said that if there had been 3 bottles, then he would have been drunk enough, and Tom would do that. So now here both of the boys were not ready to go back to room number 2. Okay, there was a long thoughtful silence. Now both of them started thinking, both were silent. Okay, then Tom said, Huck, let's not try any more until we are sure Injun Joe's not in there. If we watch every night, we'll be sure to see him go out sometime. Then we'll go in and get that box. So now they were not ready to go back in the room number 2 because they were not sure that he will not wake up. They were actually very much frightened of Injun Joe, so they planned not to go back that time. Huck and Tom planned that they would watch the room every night, and Injun Joe would go out. And when Injun Joe would go out of the room, they would go in and get the box full of treasure. Okay, so this was their plan, and they didn't go inside the inn that time. Okay, I agree, said Huck. I'll watch the whole night long, and I'll do it every night too, if you will do the other part of the job. What was the other part of the job? Huck was ready to watch. Okay, Huck agreed with Tom's idea, and he was ready to watch the whole night long, and he was asking him to do the other part of the job. So what was the other part of the job? The other part of the job was to go inside the room number 2 and get the treasure box out. Okay, and that was Tom's job. All right, I will. And you've got to do is come up Hooper Street and call. If I am asleep, throw a stone at the window. So Tom went back to his home. Okay, Tom went back to his home, and Huck was still on guard there. Okay, he was watching the street. He was watching that if Injun Joe leave the room, leave the hotel or not. Okay, and as soon as Injun Joe would leave the hotel or the inn, he would go and call Tom to go back in the room number 2. Okay, this was their plan. I must go home now. It will be morning in an hour or two. You go back and watch until it is light. Will you? Now here, Tom was asking Huck. He was making sure that he watched he watched the inn. I said I would, Tom, and I will. I will watch every night for a year. I'll sleep all day and I'll watch the inn all night. So Huck said that he will watch the inn for whole nights. Okay, and he was ready to do his job. Good. Now where are you going to sleep? Now who is saying these words? Who said this? Where are you going to sleep? Yes. Tell me the answer in the chat box. Yes, Miriam, you are raising your hand. Very good, Hani. Very good, Yusera, Iman, Miriam. Very good. So Tom was asking this, okay? Tom was asking Huck that where he was going to sleep. At Ben Rogers' farm. He often lets me sleep there. If I don't want you in the daytime, Huck, I let you sleep. Anytime you see anything happening in the night, just come right round and call. So what happened? They decided that Tom will go back to the home and he will sleep there, and Huck will watch whole night. He will be on guard. He will be watching the street, and he will stay up all night, and he would sleep all day. And where would he sleep? At Ben Rogers' farm. Okay. He said that Mr. Ben often let him sleep there in his farm. Okay. And Tom said that if he didn't want Huck during the daytime, he would let him sleep. But if Huck see anything happening in the night, he had to call Tom. Okay, so that was all about the lesson. We have finished our lesson. We have finished this last chapter, Is the Money There? If you have any confusion related to this, you may ask me. I am giving you 2 minutes. In the meanwhile, I am taking your attendance. Yes, today is homework submission day, students, and you have to submit your English literature copies. Make sure you have done your homework. You have to submit 2 assignments in the literature copies today. One was to do the question answers 4 till 6 of A Treasure Hunt. And you have to write the summary as well. And the second assignment was to do the word meaning, word sentences, and RTC of this lesson, The Room at the Inn. Okay. I have also posted your CT in your Google Classroom. Please attempt that CT. Some of you have already attempted that. Okay, so I am done. All right, everyone. Yes, any question? Now we are going to see the key points of this chapter. Yes, beta. Yes, Varda, you have to collect your winter vacation homework as well. You will get it when you submit your copies today, okay? So here are the key points of the chapter that we have read today, okay? Yes, Hani Amir, I have checked your copy. I've seen that. It's okay, no problem. Yes, it's totally fine. You have mentioned the name of the chapter there. It's fine. Okay, so here are the key points. Let's see the key points, students. The boys kept running until they reached the lower end of the village. Why were they running? Why were Tom and Huck running? They were running to save their lives. Very good. They were running to save their lives from Engine Joe. Okay. Tom told Huck that he was tired. He tried 2 of the keys very softly, but they made an awful noise. He could hardly get his breath and he was so frightened. So when Tom was trying the keys to unlock the door of room number 2, it made awful noise. And Tom was so frightened that he didn't notice what he was doing. Without noticing what he was doing, Tom put his hand on the door handle and the door opened. It wasn't locked. He went in and almost stepped onto Joe's hand. He was fast asleep on the floor. What happened? He was so nervous, he was so frightened that he didn't notice what he was doing. He just put his hand on the door handle and the door opened because it wasn't locked. Okay? He went inside the room and by mistake he just stepped onto Joe's hand because he was lying on the floor. Okay? Injun Joe was lying on the floor. He was drunk. Joe did not move. Tom thought that he was drunk. He just picked up the towel and ran. So what happened? He thought that he would wake up and kill Tom. So he became so frightened that he just picked up the towel and ran out from there. He didn't see anything in the room number 2. Tom saw nothing there but a bottle and a tin cup on the floor by Injun Joe. There was nothing to be seen by the Tom in that fright, in that fear. So he saw nothing there in the room but a bottle and a tin cup on the floor. Huck said that since Joe was drunk, it would be a great time to go and get the box. Tom asked him to try, but Huck refused because he was so frightened. When Tom returned and told that Injun Joe was drunk, lying on the floor, Huck asked him to go back because it was a good time, it was a great chance to get the treasure box out. So Tom was so frightened, he refused and he asked Huck to go and try. But Huck refused too because he was so frightened. Tom said that it was not a good idea to go because only one bottle beside Joe was not enough. He said that if there had been 3 bottles, then he would have been drunk enough and he'd do that. Tom said that just 1 bottle was not enough for Injun Joe, and if there had been 3 bottles, then he would have been drunk enough and he would have tried. Yes, sir, it was a wine bottle of wine bottle, okay? Tom said that if they watch every night, they will be sure to see Joe go out sometime. What did Tom say? Tom said that if they watch every night, they will definitely get a chance to go in when Joe goes out of that room or the hotel, okay? Then they will go in and get the box. So they planned, Tom and Huck planned that they would watch the room every night, and when Injun Joe would go out of the room, they would go in and get the treasure box, okay? Huck agreed with Tom. So this was Tom's idea and Huck liked that idea and agreed with him. He said that he would keep the watch every night if Tom do the other part of the job. So he was ready to keep the watch every night and the whole night, okay? But he asked Tom to do the other part of the job, and that was to go inside the hotel to unlock the room number 2. Tom asked Huck to come up Hooper Street and call him and throw a stone at the window to awake him. So Tom was going back to his home and he asked Huck to come up the Hooper's tree, means outside his home, and throw the stone at the window to awake him. Okay. Huck said that he will keep the watch whole night and he will sleep whole day at Ben Rogers' farm. So Huck was ready to keep the watch and Tom was ready to do the other part of the job. Okay, now they made a plan that they will not go in the inn room number 2, right? And they decided to go there later. Okay, they decided to go there at the in the absence of Injun Joe. Is it clear? Is it clear, students? Now, if you have any question, you may ask me. We have discussed the key points. We have read the lesson. Now, let me know if you have any confusion or if you have any question. I am not going to post any homework today because it's not your homework day. Your homework days are Monday and Tuesday, okay? Okay, now tell me, where did Huck sleep? Where did Huck sleep? Where did Huck sleep? Huck decided to sleep all night and he planned to sleep all day, right? But where did he plan to sleep? Very good, Hani. Very good, Iman, Yusera, Vardab, at Ben Rogers' farm. Excellent. Okay, whose job was to watch? Whose job was to keep the watch? Huck. Okay, no Hamza, it was Huck's duty. It was Huck's job to keep the watch. Okay, and whose job was to go inside the inn or the hotel to unlock the door? It was Tom's. Very good. It was Tom's duty. Good. So, did you like this lesson? Did you like the adventure? Okay, Jawad, very good. Very good, Neelam. All right, very good, Hani. Okay, so that's all for today, my dear students. I hope you have enjoyed the lecture and you have understood our today's lesson. Beta, please try to read this lesson. That's all for today. But if you have any question, we have still 1 minute. Okay, so Emma, thank you, Beta. Yes, Zen is saying that it's so thrilling. It was not so thrilling, okay. Zen didn't find it much thrilling, Beta, it was their plan. So it was thrilling for them because they were afraid of Injun Joe and they were going in his room to get the treasure box. So it was thrilling for them. Okay, so we are done now. Thank you for being here and thank you for being on time, everyone. That's all for today. Thank you, Hani. Take care. Okay, I'll be back with another lesson on Monday, inshallah. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz. And don't forget to attend the class test. You are also having your CT today. I have already uploaded it in your Google Classroom. Please try to attempt it. You have 24 hours to attempt that test. Okay, you can attempt that. Sorry, you can attempt that test till tomorrow 8 a.m. Okay. Good, Saad. I've seen your response. I've seen your test. Okay, so thank you everyone. That's all. Allah Hafiz from my side. Allah Hafiz everyone. Good Dilaways, very nice.